the woman, our old neighbor.
Oh, the
in
grouch.
Zombie form.
Oh, man.
And so she's like dragging her feet and like her head is flipped off and
So
right?
basically how she was every day.
Yeah. Hi, this is Scout and
William,
from Hypermentilating,
the podcast.
a show that follows life and change through the eyes of a father and daughter. Join us as we find our way together.
There you go. All right, Irish. Let's
'Kay.
do this thing.
So today marks episode 5. And our first topic of the day is art. Why do they sell for so much? I feel like back in the day, the art was much more detailed. I think that it just had more to it. I think that modern art nowadays, the art that sells in museums, or the art that comes to mind when you think of modern art, is a white canvas. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think you're being a little bit reductionist about what modern art is, right? Like I know what you mean, like the goofiness of just like a slash across the wall and like calling it art. But I think there's a lot more art going on in the world than that,
There
right?
is.
Like there's just as much
But the
as
art
there
that
ever
sells, but the art that sells is a lot more plain. You know, like
yeah, they'll sell like Banksy though, or an old Rembrandt or something will be found in some grandma's attic that's been sitting there for, generations, and they realize what they have and ka-ching.
yeah.
The discussion for you more is you feel like some or a lot of the art that's being sold as art today is garbage.
Yeah. I mean, I just looked up modern art, and one of the first things that pops up is 2 circles and a half circle with a line going through it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Some of it's really beautiful, like some of the old minimalist stuff like that, like Kandinsky and things like that. But I know, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like I saw a thing on just yesterday. Do you remember a few years ago somebody stuck a banana to the wall? Yeah, so I know you're looking at me, but that's what happened. Somebody stuck a banana to the wall with duct tape and called it, I think called it comedy or the comedian or something like that, the comedian. And I guess it's supposed to be some great statement or something, right? And I mean, all right, like I get it. It's kind of a statement on art for sure. But yesterday at auction in Sotheby's, the big auction house, the banana, or the most recent banana, because obviously they don't last very long, sold for $6.2 million. Yep. And some dude bought it, some crypto bro, and he's going to eat it. And the thing is, that particular banana that sold for $6.2 million, it was bought for 35 cents yesterday in Manhattan. And then sold for $6.2 million, but it came with authentication and instructions how to redo the exhibit. I guess how to tear the duct tape and the proper method of sticking it to. I know that's
like
what you mean.
What happened to the creativity? Like Frida Kahlo or Van Gogh, like these beautiful pieces.
Again,
these
though, right?
murals.
For sure, there's the world's packed full of
Even
people who can still do that today.
There's a big mural in front of like a gas station that is beautiful.
Yeah, no, there's
it's realistic,
incredibly creative and talented people in the world for sure, just as talented.
The stuff that people buy, that we hear of, are so plain and just, and of course, no offense to the artist. I mean, like. Great job, like.
I mean, don't you think though? It has some great similarity in what you're talking about. To me, has great similarity with like the fashion industry, where it's stuff you see somebody puts on a garbage bag and walks down the runway, and it's like, okay, that's the fall season. Orange garbage bags represent autumn, and it's like, oh come on, man, it's a garbage bag.
Yeah, I think that it's. Either you think that it's beautiful. But that
doesn't mean there's not great.
Yeah, models
and creative people making beautiful, amazing clothes that are interesting.
100%. I mean, I think it all depends on where you look too. But the things that pop up on everyone's feed or the news are paintings that are selling for $10 million, $6 million that are just a banana stuck to a wall with duct tape.
Yeah.
So I think that we wouldn't be having this conversation if what was selling just as much as this simplistic modern art was also, creative things, realistic paintings or colorful paintings.
Like your question originally is, why do they sell for so much?
Yeah.
Right? And that's, I guess the answer to that is because that's what people are willing to pay. Yeah. Some of it's inexplicable that anybody would consider that thing to have value, like a 35-cent banana that was purchased that morning and now is worth $6.2 million. Is like, that's insanity. But sometimes art too, like, people would say, well, you guys are just, you're heathens. You don't understand art. You don't understand the complexity and the expression behind it. And that's probably true. In a lot of cases, that's true. But
yeah.
I mean, I do understand that a banana stuck to a wall or a slash on a white background is a bit scammy.
Yeah. There's a bunch of photos. I don't know, they're probably supposed to represent something, but this one in particular is like a modern art museum, I think. Mm-hmm. And it's just a woman or a girl standing in front of art. And it is legitimately white canvas with probably like white paint over it or something. Yeah. That's all it is though. Framed white canvas.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's what I mean. Or like when people call art 3 circles in different corners of the canvas.
Right.
Like.
So the question then becomes, so why does it go for so much? Why did this crypto bro pay $6.2 million for a 35-cent banana? Like, what is it to say that he bought it, I suppose?
Or that he has enough money to buy it?
Yeah, true. Like, he's just showing you how he's so rich he can burn $6.2 million. Like, it seems to be just stupid.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem to have any purpose or value. I'm not sure what the point of it is.
Because at some point it just becomes, why are we wasting our money?
Right.
Because it's like, if someone was paying $6.2 million for an original Van Gogh painting or...
Oh my God, what a steal that would be.
Yeah. But like, if they were paying $6.2 million for a beautiful painting that was actual art, then it would be like, okay, yeah, probably still not worth $6.2 million,
right, but it's
I get the point.
Yeah, you've given it that value.
Yeah, especially
so, okay.
if it's something that is wanted by multiple people and is like something desirable that multiple people want, and you're willing to pay that much money. I think that you should pay that much money for something that is at least worth that much money, not.
Again,
something that's worth 35 cents plus $5 duct tape.
Yeah. It's worth what people pay. That's what they'll say, right? That's what people will say. Like, it's whatever people pay is what it's worth.
I mean, the banana one's insane because either way you have to keep paying money to replace it. So...
At least that guy was outright, like, making a statement of the scammy nonsense of some art and art installments. Even
the paintings we have right there in the corner of our wall, those have more talent than some of the art that's selling. Like that painting that Grandma painted of the puffins. Like
I guess, though, what you're saying makes me think, though, that a lot of the value of art is the things that are around it, that what's attached to it. So Van Gogh, who he was, his ear, he sold nothing when he was alive, right? He made no money. He died a pauper. And then afterwards, generations after his passing, people are like, whoa, and then it has increased value because there's no more Van Goghs being painted because him and his one ear are dead.
Yeah.
So that gives things their value too, the things that surround it. So this banana is surrounded by a huge amount of hype and discussion, and it really did. There was a lot of discussion about, like, come on, okay, so what is and what isn't art? That does have value. Like, so if somebody can manage to create something that gets people talking, well, you have to respect that. That has to be considered art.
Right.
But I'm totally with you. Like, I think if I look at something and I'm like, okay, I can do better than that.
Right.
Then I question its value because I am not an artist.
I mean, we were on the topic of Van Gogh, but something that I always found interesting and kind of weird was he was painting a self-portrait and he was using a mirror. And at this point, he had cut off his ear. And so he was basically painting it in the wrong way because he was painting it in a mirror. So when he painted it, it was the wrong side. So I don't know, maybe he cut off his left ear.
Yeah,
but it looked like he cut off his right ear. So I always thought that was an interesting...
Oh, Vinny. Poor Vinny. All right, what do you have for us next?
Our next topic is protests. Wow, today's topics are very opinionated.
So what angle are we going at here?
Okay, well, I just want to say something, because I think that protests can mean a lot and can be useful, but say you're protesting against, I don't know, racism, and it can help, but it can also, because it's hard to change the opinions of someone. So protesting might make the protester feel good about what they're doing something for a good cause, but a lot of the times you can't change the opinion of someone because a lot of the times the opinion is forced into their head or is already there. So a lot of the times protests can end in deaths, it can end in injuries or worse, and
yes, for sure.
A lot of the times nothing comes from it. Nothing ends up happening.
Well, it's having your say though, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the right to gather and have your say is a huge part of the freedom that we espouse in our culture, right? In the West here, there's a lot of places in the world where it's just not allowed. It's not even an option. You can't gather in a group and start squawking about anything. And so it has a huge value as far as that goes, that, whether you agree or disagree with whatever the thing is. I mean, there's always going to, especially how divided we are a lot of the time now.
True. I think that protesting is a really good thing. I think it helps people be able to express themselves, especially if it's someone who isn't great at expressing themselves.
Definitely.
Or just to make you feel good about yourself, just to make you feel like you're doing something for a good cause.
I mean, it takes a great deal of courage. You're literally putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
You're becoming visible about your opinion. You're not just sort of skulking in the background or trolling online. You're going and standing somewhere where, especially now, everybody's carrying around a video recorder, right? Mm-hmm. So you're more than likely going to be recorded making your stand and having your position. So there's huge power in that. Like there's huge power in having that voice and that courage to do that, regardless if you agree or disagree with the person doing it. Because it's easy you see protests where it's a thing that you're in accord with. It's easy to say, oh yeah, that's cool that they're doing that. And then you see something that you don't like and you're like, oh, look at these tools. These guys, what's their problem? To me, each is equally correct in their approach. Like, go out, have your say. But like you say, if it starts turning violent, which it can, then it's a different thing. Then it's not just sort of it's not having your say anymore. It's trying to inflict yourself upon other people physically, which regardless which side's doing it. Like, that's no bueno.
Everyone is allowed to have their opinions. Do I think that sometimes the person's opinion is stupid?
Well, for sure.
Yeah, but everyone is allowed to have their opinions.
As I'm sure our opinions are considered stupid in large part often.
Exactly. I think that it depends really what you're protesting on. I think that has a lot.
Well, what do you mean? It depends what you're protesting.
Like, if you're protesting, in some countries, women can't drive. They're not allowed to drive. I think that if you're protesting for that, it's a big thing to protest about.
Right, but in those cases, that's what I was saying earlier. The countries where women aren't allowed to drive, people aren't allowed to protest in general.
Yeah.
If you get together with two other people and start having a discussion that they don't like, you can be in trouble.
I guess what I'm trying to get across is that there's a time and a place to do it. Because a lot of the time, the people that you're protesting to or the country you're protesting in, the people are either mean or they're set in their ways, and you're protesting, and really there's going to be no outcome. you know?
So,
and the outcome might end up being worse than if you just hadn't have protested.
So you're more considering what would be effective protesting and ineffective protesting.
Yeah.
So you think then when would be a good time to protest?
Not as much the time,
would
but
you
more
do
the
it? Would you
place.
protest?
No.
No. So there's no, actually there's, okay, so would you protest? Is there anything that would get you out representing
Yes.
and taking the risk to put yourself, what?
There is one thing.
What?
Women's rights.
In what respect though? Like
All
that's
respects.
such a huge topic.
All respects, just in general, women's rights. Like
well, yeah,
that's,
but what rights? The right to, for what? Because it's not that I'm in disagreement with you, obviously, but I mean, what would get you out protesting? Because there's so many different things within that.
it would take a lot to get me out protesting, because I think that there's ways for me to voice my opinion. Like Malala Yousafzai,
Mm-hmm.
what she did was awesome. Like,
Wow, she's fantastic. What she represents is off the charts.
she expressed her opinion. It put her and her family at risk,
Mm-hmm.
but for the long run, what she did was amazing. And I think that what she did is a better way to voice your opinion than protesting. 'Cause it's kind of in the heat of the moment, and it's very like, there's lots of people, and people do things when they're under pressure or when they're stressed. So I think that if you have time to think about it, maybe you have a small group of people that you get together with and you're like, hey, do you know people that might want to protest? You can
What
form
can
a
we
small
do?
or big group. Then it's kind of more organized. Whereas if you're just going out with all these people and it's in the heat of the moment,
Mm-hmm.
people are joining, and people get stressed. They're under pressure. They don't know what to do. People
Yeah.
do things.
Then it becomes a mob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas what Malala did, she voiced her opinion online, I'm pretty sure.
I think she did a lot of things. Like
A lot
after
of
she was
things.
shot on the bus and
A lot of
recovered, she
things.
did a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's kind of indicative of what you're saying, that, well, how much value does protesting have? Like, you put yourself out there, and then, because if you look in Afghanistan now, it's all turned around. All of the inroads that were made for women's rights on all levels, right? Every kind of woman's right, the right to just exist freely and without fear of repercussions, the right to be educated, they've all been rolled back in the last few years. And
Right.
so all of that work that women like her did, especially in a place like Afghanistan, it's so closely related to culturally, has gone away. It's horrible. So I think the idea of standing up and having your say is critical to ongoing freedom for all of us in that
Yeah.
respect. But then you're saying it's how you do it is the thing
Yeah.
that needs more consideration.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think that people get angry and they don't stop to think, including me. I mean,
Mhm.
like, everyone does this. They don't stop to think, and then they just do things. And I think that has the opposite effect of what they're trying to convey. So I think that if you think it through, you know, okay, this is what I want to do. Like, I know this might put my life at risk or others, or it might solve my problem. I'm going to do it. And I think that there's other ways or better ways to do it, like voicing your opinion online, or...
So you're just not a big fan of the grouping for
yeah.
the getting together and the possibility of disaster that might
Yeah.
come from it. Okay.
That was actually a really good conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so for our segments today, we have, well, our first segment of the day is On the Spot.
All right. This is you.
Yeah.
This is you this time,
I'm
right?
nervous.
No, I wouldn't set you up. Well, that's not true. I might.
Yeah, you would.
But not this early. Not the first one. No, I was thinking about this, and what I want to hear is a dream that you really remember, something that's really stuck with you, and has had manifestly an impact on you that's ongoing.
Okay. Well, I could talk about a good one that happened recently, or I could talk about the scary one that happened when I was about 6 that affected me for the rest of my life. Let's do that one.
All right.
So, when I was about maybe 5.5 or 6...
You're not going to reveal some sort of therapy necessitating moment, are you?
No, right. It was just a dream. Okay, so...
Was it, though?
Oh, it was. Trust.
All right.
So... I was like maybe 5.5 or 6, and might have been I don't know. I was asleep, and then I was having this dream. It was you, me, and Maddish in this house at home, and all of a sudden, like, we get this banging on the door, and the siren goes off. I remember it so perfectly. The siren goes off. So we turn on the TV, the computer, and we're like, okay, what's going on? So we click on the news. A zombie apocalypse is happening. And at this age, at 5 or 6, zombies are a scary thing.
This is before you saw the what is it, The Rest of Us, The Best of Us?
Yeah, the Last of Us.
The Last of Us.
Yeah. So we were all freaking out, and we're trying to board up all the doors and windows and stuff. And then all of a sudden, we get a knock on the door. And... I don't know. So apparently we had a peephole on the door. So you look out the little peephole.
Yeah.
And it's our neighbor, the woman, our old neighbor.
Oh, the Grouch.
In zombie form.
Oh, man.
And so she's like dragging her feet, and like her head is flipped off, and...
So
right?
basically how she was every day.
Yeah. So... we're trying to think of a plan quickly, but before we can, the zombie punches her hand through the door, unlocks the door, and apparently the planks disappeared that we boarded up the door with, and she walks in, right, all zombie-like. So we run out the back door, through the gate, and we're all of a sudden in a forest. We just jumped to a forest. And,
why not?
Yeah. And... We're running. You, for some reason, are still at the house. I don't know, it's just me, Paz, and this random girl. And so Paz and I are running. We're running through the forest. We're trying to see if we can climb a tree. But then in the distance, we see a zombie, like, lizard up a tree.
Oh, so zombies climb trees?
Apparently, in this dream, they did. So Paz and I are just panicking even more now.
I wonder if they could swim.
Oh, I didn't find out.
In general, though, do you think a zombie could swim? They don't seem to have the motor skills for it, do they? You never see that in the movies. They never drown a zombie.
And so then we go into, like, this little shack about, I don't know, maybe, like, 4 foot wide and maybe 7 foot tall or something. It was a really weird shaped thing, but it was like a shack. So we go in there for coverage, and it's just wood. Just wood. And it has a little tree-shaped thing as a little window, but it's like, I don't know, yay big, like 3 inches big or something.
Yay for, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And this dream is, so it still has an effect on me. So we're sitting in the shack.
I've never heard this dream before.
And the zombies,
awesome.
I told you one time at Carl's Jr. Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
And I haven't retold it in like 6 years.
Okay.
Well, yeah, like 4 or 5 years. So they're banging on the side of the door, and we're trying to think of an escape plan.
So it's you, Maddish, and this kid?
And this girl. I don't know who the girl is.
All right.
But actually, there's a cool story about her after that I'll say. I don't know who this girl is, but we're trying to leave, and we're panicking, and then we somehow make it out. We're running back to the house, and we make it through the door. And at this point, it feels like the dream's been going on for 10 years.
You're right.
And we make it in through the front door, because I guess it's been fixed. And we're in the house. All the lights are off. You have candles lit, because you're still there. Then the zombie comes through the door. Again, same zombie, yeah.
Okay.
But this time she has the woman that lived over there, but they moved right across the street.
Okay.
Who had the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. They drag their feet in. The dream ends with Maddish getting his brains eaten.
Oh, wow.
And imagine me, 5 or 6 years old, alone in my bed, waking up, in like a pile of sweat, panicking because I think that my brother's brains just got eaten.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
Yeah. So that dream has really stuck with me for quite a while.
You guys, your dreams. Manish was telling me just a couple of days ago, one of his dreams ended in some kind of gory nastiness too, some finality. Mine never end like that. If there's going to be brains eaten, I'm waking up, man. I'm done. This dream is over.
I didn't know how to do that. So I was just like...
But you could do that now. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Maybe when you're little, you can't. You're just stuck in it until it's over.
It. Like this dream...
Do you think that's true? You're stuck in dreams
Probably.
and then you learn how to exit them?
Probably. So then we were at Mom's house and I was telling Mom about this dream. I was like, I don't know, maybe... At this point, I was like 8, and this was only the second time that I had told this dream because I just wanted to forget it.
Right.
But Mom was like, oh, well, there's a really good way to forget things like this. So I wrote it down on a piece of paper, the whole dream, and then I drew the last scene out and then burned it, the paper. And you know what? Oddly enough, it did kind of help. Like, that actually was a pretty effective form.
Nice.
Yeah, and I only told you once. I only told you and Mom. And Paz was there when I told you at Carl's Jr.
So you're good with it now, though? You can bring it back out of the ashes now?
Oh, I won't tell it for a little while. Because this dream still seriously panics me.
Okay.
Like, I hated it.
Well, I can't dig any comedy out of that then.
The cool story about this girl, was I looked it up, I was like, do people see a certain girl in their dreams? And I was just looking at photos of people that show up in dreams, and this girl was on the list. It was actually kind of crazy.
Huh.
Yeah. Girls in dreams, everybody
I
sees.
see what you're saying. That like a sort of generic version of a girl that everybody would describe in a dream.
Yeah, like she had weird kind of like lizard-like eyes. I don't know.
That's interesting.
She was...
See,
like now I can't find her.
But the implication there is that when we dream sort of a collective. There's an image that we all see, or a version, like how we all draw aliens as green people with big eyes. If there's a girl in your zombie dream, she looks a certain way. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like now I can't find her, but I swear that I read something or watched a video that was this girl appears in dreams, and I was like, that is basically a doppelganger of the girl in my 5-year-old dream.
That's kind of cool. I never thought of that before.
Yeah, no, it was freaky.
Well, you don't seem too traumatized right now.
No.
That was not my intention.
But no, I'm like, it had an effect on me. It was a dream.
Yeah.
Like, I could have told the good dream.
No, I mean, that's exactly what, like, something that, on the spot, right? Something that stuck with you, something that you've carried around your whole life. Yeah? All right.
Okay, so for our next segment, we have Hear Me Out. Dad's in charge of this guy.
Oh, it's my turn for the Hear Me Out? Yeah. All right. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, I know what I want. It's clumping.
What?
Clumping.
What's that?
You know, like when you go to a movie theater and there's hardly anybody in the theater, and then the family comes in and sits in front of you or sits beside you. And it's like, man, really? You could have sat anywhere and you had to sit right beside us. You know how that happens all the time? Like I used to like going to matinees and by myself, right? Just because it's nice. And the dream scenario was nobody else in the theater. And you just be sitting there by yourself with the giant screen and watching the big TV and have your big bucket of popcorn and your drink that you snuck in, because who's paying $6 for a Coke? Yeah. Yeah. Well, and yeah. And so I'd be sitting there, and then some dude would come in, or a couple of people, and they'd sit right in front of me, the row directly in front of me. So now I'm looking at their head. It's like, seriously, what makes you think at 3:00 in the afternoon on a Thursday that I want company? Like, what would make you possibly think that a guy who's in a matinee by himself wants you to come up and sit right in front of him or right beside him? I don't understand that, but that's clumping. It's like on the beach. You know, you go and you sit on the beach, and there's miles on either side of you.
Just attract
and
people.
A group of 40 comes in, and they plunk down right beside you. It's like, seriously, man.
Yeah.
Why? Why did you do that? I mean, I know what it is. It's tribal. It's clumping, right? That's how we survived as humans, by getting together and being together and approaching everything together. But man, sometimes you got to just say that person does not want my company.
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
I consider Hear Me Out as a more of a ranting thing.
Okay, so your Hear Me Out is being alone in a theater? Or your Hear Me Out is when people come and sit in front of you?
Just the whole concept of clumping. Could be a theater, could be the beach. Those are the two that strike me as like, you sometimes you just want to be by yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't know how anybody can't recognize that. Again, like 3 o'clock on a Thursday in a movie theater, this person is not looking for company. If they were looking for company, they would not have gone to a matinee. Alone on a Thursday. Yeah. They would be in a bar, they would be at a party, they would be at the library. I don't know. They would go to a million different places to try and interact with people.
Yeah.
And so
not the
it's
movie
like,
theater.
Give the person space. And the same on the beach.
The beach is the worst.
See, okay, for you, the beach is...
Yeah, like when you're with your family, or like just when you're trying to enjoy something peaceful and you're just with your family or alone even, or with a friend, and
peaceful. You're just peaceful.
40 group family walks over and sits right down next to you with their tens of umbrellas and their towels and their 2 dogs.
Collapsible tables.
Yeah.
Coolers.
And it's like, okay, dude, I chose the farthest side of the beach with my towel and my puppy and my brother.
Yeah.
And
for a reason.
Yeah, and you guys came over when you could have literally sat anywhere else on the other side.
So you do understand. You understand my Hear Me Out.
Completely.
I've gotten up in that situation in the theater.
Yeah.
Like not made a big parade out of it, but quietly just picked up my bucket and moved.
I mean,
like I don't want to sit and look past your head.
If you're sitting and maybe you already bought your seats, but if the movie theater is empty, like it's empty.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Empty, yeah.
Then like, why did you choose to sit next to us or in front of us when you could have sat over there or literally
anywhere
15 seats ahead? Like, I don't know. It's just, I understand that. Yeah, I understand.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Look at that. I can make a heartbeat. Ready?
Where?
You'll be able to hear it when you edit this.
Oh man.
Ready?
Is that our X? That's our outro?
Yep. All right. Thank you for listening to this episode.
Thank you. And thank you, Irish.
Tune in next Wednesday.
I'll be there. I intend to participate.
As do I.
All right. Perfect.
Okay. I love you, Dad.
I love you. Next time.
Next time.